Agriculture. It's the economic engine that drives this region. On this episode of Valley's Gold, we're plowing through the equipment and people who drive this industry. From tractors and planes to the classroom, we're going to get an inside peek at ag machinery. I hope you'll join me, Ryan Jacobson, on the Sky High Adventure.
Valley's Gold is produced through a partnership between the Fresno County Farm Bureau and Valley PBS. Production funding for Valley's Gold is provided by
Everyone enjoys getting together to laugh, to talk, and mostly to eat. It sounds so simple, but the reality is that it takes a lot of hard work to feed us. The next time you sit down to eat, remember to thank our farmers. Gar Tutelian Incorporated since 1949 at 800-696-6108.
The Myers Water Bank and Wildlife Project, a water resource and education program, providing an educational experience that teaches students in the Central Valley about water and wildlife.
For more than 60 years, Brandt has been a major supplier of agricultural specialty products. Formerly Monterey Ag Resources, Brandt provides sustainable solutions for both conventional and organic growers. Brandt, we're proud to call the Valley home.
I've headed up to sunny Chowchilla to visit Teal Air Care. With me I have owner and operator Doug Teal. Doug, thanks for joining me.
Where else would you rather be today, Ryan?
Nowhere other than here. My gosh, we got some beautiful props around us.
Well,
so
thank you.
Can't wait to learn about these. But let's begin with Doug. How'd you get involved in the aircraft business?
Well, it kind of goes back to my childhood, and I was raised the son of a farmer, and my dad was an avid pilot. I had an uncle in the business that, so there was some connection, and I just loved watching them. My degree, my education is ag business, and kind of combines agriculture, and you can't get too far from your roots.
I mean, I think the first and foremost we want to start with is that you got to have a pilot's license, but I know it takes a little bit more than just a pilot's license to fly one of these things.
Yeah, it does, absolutely. It takes quite a bit of skill. We're probably the last sector in aviation that's truly stick and rudder pilots. There's aerobatic pilots, and they would fit right in here, but we can't. We used to be able to get our pilots from the military.
Yeah.
But it's a different kind of airplane nowadays.
Yeah.
And we're incorporating a lot of that technology in here, but the basic stick and rudder skills the jet pilot just doesn't have. And they have to acquire that after they get out. It's tough to get into.
Yeah.
It's tough to get into because agriculture is such a valuable industry, and it's very easy to cause damage.
Yes.
So we can't afford, a very steep learning curve. You got to have crop recognition, and obviously now we got a lot of permanent crops and vegetables, and with the urban sprawl, we can't afford to let the material get away from us.
Yeah.
And so drift is an issue.
And that's one of the fun transitions you talked about. You've been doing this since the late 70s. There's been a lot of changes over that 35 years.
A tremendous amount of changes. Now then, our applications are tremendously accurate.
Yeah.
And the airplanes are accurate at an applied rate within 1/10 of a gallon.
Wow.
No matter the wind.
One thing that was exciting when I came here is I actually got to see, you actually have another generation coming up behind you that's actually doing some of the applications now.
Yes, that's most fun. Almost any aviation business that you go to probably has family roots.
Yeah.
And I really feel fortunate to get to continue that. My son came out of the Air Force, and he kind of got the bug with helicopters, and any major player in aerial application in this state, in this valley, now has a helicopter.
Yeah.
And because of the urban sprawl, it's even. So it's a very good niche.
And it's not just applications that you're actually putting out. You do use your helicopter sometimes for specialized crops here in the valley as well.
Yes, we do. A helicopter has its place with urban sprawl. And anytime drift is an issue, a helicopter, or if you have a dense population where there's towns, close to towns, where we can stay confined to the field, it's good.
Now let's talk about the actual application for the plane that's behind us here. What goes on? What when you go from the first stage here? I mean, obviously there's going to be the the actual filling of the plane, and all the way through that process when you're actually going to the field. What's the practice?
Well, it starts a long time before that. Applications are basically missions, and I think that's a good way to put it. It'll start out with written paperwork from a professional crop consultant that has identified the problem, and one thing we can do with airplanes, we're very time specific. It doesn't take us long to do it. So we'll get the written recommendation from a PCA, I call it, Pest Control Advisor, and then we'll process that work order. And in that, if the material that we're spraying is toxic to bees, there'll be bee checks with the county. And some of it is federally restricted or state restricted, and that'll take a notice of intent. And that'll take 24 hours to do that, so that they know we're doing it.
Absolutely. And then when we talk about when this pass goes on, we actually have the footage of it taking place. What is the average speed of that plane going through the field?
An airplane's average speed in these days, it depends on the engine, 140, some are about 125. A helicopter application speed's about 60.
Okay. And you talked about that penetration. Explain what's going on. You talk about penetration. It's more than just the top layer. You're actually trying to go into those canopies.
We are, and it kind of depends what we're doing. Yeah. If we have herbicides where we're kind of more concerned with drift and you have no ground cover, then we're concerning ourselves with big drops. Yeah. And that's kind of how we'll introduce it into the relative wind. And so we'll put it directly into the wind. Well, if we want smaller drops and we want penetration, we'll put the nozzle down and kind of break it up with the relative wind.
Got it. Okay. Well, a lot of our viewers may not know this, but we're actually standing in front of a fairly famous plane. Now, it's not necessarily the plane itself, but they may have heard this plane before. Can you explain that?
Yeah, that's been kind of a fun ordeal. It's kind of fun to be famous for your exhaust. And this is actually the sound of Dusty Crophopper in the movie Planes. Disney Films was here, and
this is the sound you get to hear on there. And it wasn't as simple as just they came out here. You actually did some flybys for them and made sure they were getting the true and accurate sound of what it takes to do a crop dusting.
Yeah, they did. It was really fun because it was kind of some intermingling of some city people getting exposed to country living and a lot they didn't understand. Fun opportunity.
Oh, I got a young kid at home, and that's his favorite movie, so I get to tell him I met the character. So.
Yep. Well, we got to go to the premiere, my wife and I, and that was a fun time.
Yeah, well, good. Well, Doug, thank you so much. I appreciate the time you took out of your busy schedule to show us around. And it's an important industry. I think a lot of folks just don't understand here in California, so I'm glad we were able to expose them to it.
I sure appreciate you coming out here, and we need the exposure. We're not as bad as people think we are.
Oh, thank you.
We're a lot more responsible.
Well, thanks, Doug. Appreciate it.
Okay, thanks.
I've now been joined by Terry Gage, president of the California Agricultural Aircraft Association. Terry, thanks for joining me.
Thank you for having me today, Brian.
Well, let's begin with, tell me about CAAA.
Well, CAAA is a statewide association. It's one of the oldest ag aviation associations in the United States. We were founded in 1945.
And your organization represents the pilots and the operators up and down the state?
Up from the Oregon border all the way down to the Mexican border.
And you guys are based out of Sacramento?
Just north of Sacramento in Lincoln.
Okay. And then so you represent them on just governmental affairs types of issues and any kind of trade organization issues that may come up?
Exactly. We track legislation and regulation, and we update the members to let them know when there's changes. We also provide continuing education for our members to help them stay up to date and help them keep their license in place.
Great. Now, aerial application, very important in the state of California. How many operators do we have in the state now?
We have just about 80 operators in the state.
And pilots, somewhere you said over about 200 or so?
About 200, 225 are actually flying. The Department of Pesticide Regulation has 400 pilots licensed, but a lot of guys, they're trying to get into the business, but they haven't quite got there, or they're just holding onto their license, hoping, and they're not actively flying.
Okay, now talk about that licensing requirement. I know there's the flight side that we talked about earlier, but now there's also the pesticide side that's a very important component of these operations.
Exactly. In addition to being a commercial pilot, they have to test with the Department of Pesticide Regulation. It's a written test based on their knowledge of California laws and regs in regards to aerial application, both the aerodynamics and spray dynamics and the laws and regs portion. So they need to pass that, and then they're an apprentice until they've flown under a journeyman pilot for a set number of years.
Wow, okay. And California probably has one of the toughest regulations we look at nationwide, correct?
Definitely. It's very challenging to fly here because we have so many sensitive crops and such a variety of crops, and we have a variety of waterways, we have a lot of urban areas. So it definitely takes a very special pilot to fly in this state.
And then you just look at the challenges just from agriculture as a whole right now. We are seeing even effects from the drought. I mean, that obviously affects the workload of your pilots up and down the state.
Just like everybody else in the rural communities that, where the heart of agriculture is, it's a trickle-down effect. The ag dollars turn over and over in these communities, and from, the seed people to the fertilizer people to folks that deliver things to these different businesses, everybody's being impacted. And in addition to the growers, which they're losing their water and not able to, farm their land.
Well, Terry, thank you so much. This has been incredibly informative learning about California's aerial applications.
Well, thank you, Brian. I'm glad that you were able to come out today.
Thanks. I've landed over at Fresno Equipment Company in Fresno. With me I have the store owner, Marcia Vukovic, and store manager, Pat O'Neill. Thank you guys for joining me.
Welcome, Ryan.
Welcome. Well, Marcia, let me begin with you. Tell me about the history of this wonderful organization.
Well, in 1960, John Deere Company was looking for a locally owned dealer for their John Deere product line. Actually, at that time, John Deere did not have a large presence in the valley. And so my father, Mark Vukovic, in 1961, established Fresno Equipment as a full-service agricultural equipment dealer, and we've been family-owned and operated ever since.
Well, that's fantastic. So you're second generation taking over this store, and I think the green tractors are so representation of the, when you look at the valley agriculture industry, these are important. This is important to make this industry work. And so, Pat, when we look at this organization today, you guys are doing a lot of wonderful things for the industry. Can you talk about those?
Yeah, we like to think so, Ryan. We've got two locations. The location here in Fresno, which serves the greater Fresno area, Sanger, Easton, Carruthers. We also have a location in Five Points, which is approximately 40 miles southwest of this location, which serves the greater west side. We're a full-service John Deere dealer. We offer parts service and whole good sales. In addition to John Deere, we sell a wide variety of different short line equipment, including but not limited to nut harvesting equipment, spray equipment, tillage equipment, and etc.
And Pat, that's so important because you guys are so much more than just a tractor dealer. The wear and tear and everything else, you guys are taking care of that as well here.
We are, yeah. In fact, we've got tractors in our shop right now that are 30 or 40 years old that are still running today.
So let's talk about, as we move forward, we got a great representation behind us of both the newer generation and the older generation. And looking towards the new generation, new technologies, there's a lot going on in equipment industry right now.
Yeah, there sure is. I mean, one of the biggest changes we've seen in the last few years has been emissions technology. So we've shifted from Tier 0 engines to Tier 1, Tier 2, Tier 3, and now we're on to final Tier 4 engines, which in theory burn much cleaner than their predecessors.
And Pat, that's incredibly important, the role you guys are playing in this whole thing, because California is at the front of this emissions market. So I know John Deere back at corporate's looking a lot to the Valley agriculture industry to see what they need and how they can play a role in making sure we're at the cutting edge of those air emissions.
Yeah, the emission standards started in California, and California was a big driving force in the change in emissions. So yeah, we've definitely been on the forefront of that field.
And then Marcia, and it's not, as I've talked about earlier, it's just not tractors. You guys are even getting into water technology and some of these other areas that maybe historically wasn't associated with John Deere.
That's true. John Deere has invested a great deal into the technology that goes into the equipment these days. Not just the tractors, which in some cases can often almost drive themselves.
Yeah.
But yes, in terms of other technology, John Deere has products such as John Deere Field Connect, which measure moisture in the soil. Very important for today's situation in the valley and the drought.
And one thing that's so important too, Marcia, is the fact that we talk about on the show the importance of ag careers, and there's so much more than just working directly on the farm, and you guys are a great representation of that. Just everything from ag mechanics to salespeople to everybody else, they play such an important role to the ag industry, but again, they're not directly involved on the farm.
Oh yes, and we believe in employee development. We have an active training program every year that we budget for, actually. We have interns actively in the dealership, and we're always looking to find and train good service technicians, salespeople, and parts counter salespeople. We're fortunate in that we have a very loyal team here at Fresno Equipment.
And one thing that's fun about the organization you're a part of is that you're part of that umbrella of John Deere, which you talk about education. They do a ton of education. They actually have partnerships with universities throughout the country to also educate folks about the importance of this industry.
They do. They have active programs for technicians. They have classes for salespeople. They have classes for all levels within the dealership. They're very supportive, and we have a strong partnership with John Deere.
And Pat, today, we know the importance of GPS, what it's playing on the farm. Where do you see the future going as far as so much of this equipment? I mean, things are just radically evolving over time. I mean, very quickly right now.
Yeah, Ryan. On our larger tractors, approximately 200 horsepower and up, we've got onboard telematics. We've got diagnostics that we can do in some cases from the field, or in all cases from the field, and in some cases we can narrow down a potential problem or a problem without even looking at the tractor right here from the dealership. That technology is filtering its way down into lower horsepower tractors, but it really at the end of the day, it's going to save the grower time and money, because it's a more efficient way of solving a problem.
Yep, absolutely. And Marcia, you guys do a lot more than just agriculture. You guys have a lot of different other pieces of equipment, whether it's landscaping or just the homeowner. You have that equipment available here.
We do. We have the full line of John Deere lawn and garden, commercial and consumer mowing equipment, and everything is on display in our showroom.
And the thing I'll end with is that they even got things for the kids. Lots of things for the kids to come play with.
We have lots of very popular John Deere merchandise, everything for the John Deere collector and enthusiast, from toys and apparel and gun safes and barbecues, you name it, and it's very popular.
Well, as we know, that John Deere green is an important part of so many people's lives. So
we're very proud to be part of the heritage of the company.
Absolutely. So Marcia, Pat, thank you guys so much for letting me know a little bit more about your important company, and I thank you so much for sharing your time with me this morning.
Thank you for coming.
Thanks. I've traveled out to beautiful Coalinga to visit West Hills Community College's Farm of the Future. With me, I have College President Carol Goldsmith and the Farm Director Clint Cowden. Thank you guys for joining me.
Well, thanks for driving out here today on this beautiful day.
Gorgeous day. And I want to begin with, Carol, can you tell me a little bit about West Hills Community College?
Well, West Hills Community College District is in the western part of Fresno County, also serving Kings County and San Benito County and Madera counties.
And the one thing that I visited the college here just this morning, and one thing that's really neat that I've got to pick up on is, even though you have a service area that's on the western side of the valley, you've almost become a destination community college because of some of the special programs that you have offered here.
You know, absolutely. West Hills College Coalinga, many people, you take a drive. You drove out here today, and it is a bit of a drive, but we really are in the heart of agriculture, and we're in the heart of a lot of innovation. As you know, agriculture is becoming more dependent on technology than ever before. We know that a lot of the jobs in agriculture, as well as other industries, are really focusing on technology. Recently, West Hills College Coalinga and Lemoore was awarded by the California Governor's Office an Innovation Award for our use of technology in the classroom and throughout our system. It was a $2.5 million award, and it's not a grant. It's not something we're going to do.
Yeah.
This was an award based on our past practice. Our innovation is really being heralded not only in the state of California, but throughout the nation as something. We're doing something really great out here.
That's great.
Yeah.
And Clint, we're here visiting the Farm of the Future today. Give me an overview of the Farm of the Future.
I would say one of the big things with the Farm of the Future is it's a state of mind. What we're really trying to do is bring students in and have them learn the science that we're going to teach in the classroom and blend that with the art that they may have already understood and learned from grandfather. So really taking big data, a lot of people are talking about big data nowadays. How do we gather that information online? How do we put all that in, start to make some decision models, but then how do we walk out in the field and actually put it into use?
Yeah.
Because we see a lot of our students, they may understand the big data side, or they may understand the art of farming side. What we really want to do is bring that together. And that's really one of our big goals here at the Farm of the Future, is trying to create students that understand both of those worlds.
Mm-hmm. And it's a really diversified mixture. I mean, I've seen obviously everything that's out in the field here, which is a fairly good learning environment, but you also have one heck of a laboratory.
Yeah, and that's one of the things we're really blessed here that the local people as well as the administration have really pushed in. We have a $25 million facility here where we are able to teach students heavy equipment, industrial mechanics, welding, pest control advising, irrigation engineering, ag engineering, a lot of those different things, and we're able to put them in an environment where we're going to teach them theory in the classroom, but then practical application out in the field. We're really trying to blend those worlds so that when our students are ready to go to work, they're ready to actually get on the job and make a profit for the company that hires them.
Clint, you were showing me the laboratory. I mean, it's hands-on. I mean, you're talking about everything. It's not just putting the key in and trying to drive some of this equipment. It's knowing all the safety factors that go into it. You want these people to go out in industry and do as well as they can to represent this college.
Exactly, and that's the big thing, is going out and listening to what industry wants, listening to and what are those national standards, and making sure that we have the equipment and the instructors ready there to teach those things.
And there's keep talking about the student. The student is a key component, obviously, of what's happening here, but they have such varied backgrounds. I mean, not only just where their location coming from, I mean, but you got inner city kids that find their way up to Coalinga and they get some hands-on experience, all the way to the rural kid that's coming on to maybe really sharpen his skills and to learn some other tools of the trade there. So it's really, like I said, it's an opportunity that a lot of the other colleges just don't offer these students.
Yeah, well, and it is. We're blending them because we're trying to match reality. So exactly, you may be sitting in a classroom where a person has a master's degree in criminology, sitting next to a student that is from inner city Los Angeles, sitting next to a national FFA champion that knows everything about farm power. And what we're doing is we're bringing them together, mixing them up, and getting them in that learning environment. And then the next thing we want to do is break down that silo. So we don't want just heavy equipment students working with heavy equipment or welding students working with welding, but then creating projects that now the ag engineering students are coming over and working with the heavy equipment students. The industrial mechanics students are cross-pollinating into those, so we can start to get that blend. And the more that we talk with industry, that's what they're looking for, is those people that can blend across.
And like so many colleges, I'm sure you guys have some big events that help celebrate the college and what all of you do. What's some of those events, and where can people find information about it?
Well, sure, but let me tell you about a past event we're very proud of, because we're going to host it again, but Apps for Ag. It was a hackathon that we hosted here where programmers for Silicon Valley came to our valley, because this is where we grow everything, and we had 6 teams spend 48 hours, and at the end of that 48 hours they had workable apps on their phone that worked, not just a concept, but worked. So we're going to have those annually every spring. And then I know in the fall we're having a big benefit for the farm, then those dates will be posted on our website as well.
Oh, that's fantastic. And the one thing I want to end with is, we talk about Farm of the Future, I think the one thing that both of you would acknowledge is that the process never ends. I mean, the upgrading just goes on, because to be the farm of the future, obviously things are so rapidly changing in the agricultural environment right now that I don't want to say you find it difficult to stay up on top of things, but it's a challenge, I'm sure, to always be on the cutting edge of what needs to take place.
It is very much a challenge, and that's where industry partners are vital for our industry to come in and say, you know what, that was really good technology 2 years ago.
Yeah.
But with a bold name like Farm of the Future, it is very bold, and so we really work really closely with not only ourselves, as far as, so we want our professors to go on externships, spend time with people that are making money doing it, as well as getting the students with the internship. So that constant cross-pollination of people from industry with those of us at the college.
You know, and I spoke earlier of the Innovation Award that we received. If you take a tour of the inside of the shop, you'll see some simulation areas where students can go in and practice on the heavy equipment. And that's good for a lot of things. It's good for our environment, reduces our CO2 emissions. It's also a safety issue. So instead of our students operating the heavy equipment for the first time, they can do simulation. Well, we're going to take some of those funds and continue to purchase more simulations. So I can see us having a simulated welding activity. So we'll do those sort of things. Simulation is going to continue to play a very active role in farming, as well as we're looking at the possibility of starting drone programs. We actually have the drones. Now we're in the process of developing the curriculum.
I was telling Clint how amazed I was when I was looking at what was taking place there, just for the fact that it's instantaneous feedback. I mean, it's something, even if you get on the big machines and you get to take part in that, you still don't get that instantaneous feedback that you're actually receiving from the program. So very, very, like I said, futuristic.
Absolutely. And we're very proud of our partners. I know one of the simulators was on loan to us by
TopCon. So TopCon, we work very close. They have those. We have John Deere simulators as far as, so really trying to get that simulation, and we're working with those industry partners.
Well, fantastic. I want to thank you too so much for sharing this wonderful information about this hidden jewel out on the west side of the valley. And I really loved coming out and visiting it this morning.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And you know, our motto is, once you go here, you can go anywhere. So now that you're here, you can go anywhere.
Exactly. No, I appreciate it. Thank you too so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much. All right.
Well, that concludes our program. A big thank you goes to the generations of creative minds whose ingenuity drove the development of California's world-class agricultural industry. I hope you'll join me again for more Valley's Gold.
Production funding for Valley's Gold is provided by
Everyone enjoys getting together to laugh, to talk, and mostly to eat. It sounds so simple, but the reality is that it takes a lot of hard work to feed us. The next time you sit down to eat, remember to thank our farmers. Gar Tutelian Incorporated since 1949 at 800-696-6108.
The Myers Water Bank and Wildlife Project, a water resource and education program, providing an educational experience that teaches students in the Central Valley about water and wildlife.
For more than 60 years, Brandt has been a major supplier of agricultural specialty products. Formerly Monterey Ag Resources, Brandt provides sustainable solutions for both conventional and organic growers. Brandt, we're proud to call the Valley home.